How you going, guys? On this video we're going to turn this rotten looking vintage or hot rod windscreen frame back to looking like this, and instead of looking like all holy and broken, all worn out in the corners. So I've had to cut the corners off. So yeah, basically in this video, by the end of this, hopefully we'll have this back in this corner. But yeah, I've already done this one, but that was part way through the video. So how you going, guys? So welcome back again. This I'm assuming will be video 73, which is repairing the corners of this window frame for the front frame. So yeah, got to get rid of all the rod out of there and then weld it back together and then weld it back to the frame and then do the same in the other corner. So I guess we'll get to it. So the first task I think I need to do is obviously try and get some steel in here, and then I'd say I might need to obviously put some patches on the outside too, so I have to cut some of this away. But what I'll do is I'll get the insides repaired and I'll probably get it tacked back together, and then I'll make some little panels to repair, because it's getting obviously fairly thin in the outside edge as well, and some of this, like, it's good back about here sort of type thing. Looks like it's fairly good solid clean metal, but the rest of it looks pretty junky. But I'm probably gonna have to cut this down through here too. I don't think I've got any choice, because it's just going to be a bitch to get in here and repair. This here is going to be alright because I'm getting in from this side, so it's not so difficult to play with, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's still going to be fun trying to, I may have to cut it in half just to try and get in there and clean up into the corners before I weld it back together, and then, you know, like I can weld it through here, and the same on this side, you know, I can weld it in these points and corners, because I can get in there and clean that up a little bit, but I've got to be able to get the rubber in there. I've also got to be able to get the glass in there. Now we're going to have to cut glass, but later on down the track. But yeah, we've got to be able to get it in there. So I might go just give this a wee bit more heavier sandblast. Just a little bit more, try and get rid of some of the shit out from them, just in the corners and stuff, just to have a wee bit better look. It's probably not too critical, but yeah, it's going to be fun. But that's why I made this. Hold on, turn the camera around. That's why I set this window frame up in this jig. So, like, this can't really move anywhere. Like, this can move a little bit, but basically when I put it back together, you know that's got to fit back in that corner type thing. Now that's all got to fit back together the right way, you know what I mean? So I know that I've got to put that back down there, that's got to tack onto there, and all those sorts of things. So I know that's how it's meant to fit. So, and once I've done this corner, then I'll do the other corner. But I'll get this all back together before I even attempt that one. And obviously I'll go clamp and knock this joint back up together a bit tighter. But yeah, so that's what we'll do today. We'll get this repaired. I'm going to try and get the whole thing done. If I have to come back here later on tonight, I will. But just try and get it all sorted. Like, it doesn't look like a big job. There's not a lot of metal to put in there, but there's a lot of frigging around and fluffing around and bits and pieces. It's going to take a while. It might go quick, it might not. I'm just not sure. But there's a lot of playing, a lot of cutting, a lot of playing, a lot of grinding, and they've got to get it cleaned so you can get glass in there without breaking it. because if you're going to put in glass in here against this or whatever, you know, you don't want a hard piece of, like a hard sharp piece of weld in there, because guaranteed that'll be the piece that smashes the glass when you're trying to, you know, glue it in there or whatever. I think it does have like a little aluminium frame that goes around in here, because I'll take you over to that other car and show you. So it's got this little aluminium like inner frame U-channel. So that's obviously how it was held in there originally. So we possibly will do or make that again, or do something like that again. But at the end of the day, you could just glue the glass into the frame, if you know what I mean. Urethane it in there or whatever. Now we can put safety glass in there, but if it is in there in like a little aluminium frame, at least if it do happen to break it, you can undo the screws and pull it out. So, but you know, we'll work that out. We'll decide what we're going to do later on. But it shouldn't be too hard to, well, hopefully it won't be too hard to find an aluminium extrusion that will fit in there, that glass will fit in. It'll be just a matter of going to some of these places and see if we can find a U-channel that will slip in there and look the part. So yeah, but anyway, we'll get on with it. Right, so I just cut this in half. I thought I had the camera going, but I didn't. So it's only really got that little hole in it. And at the end of the day, like, you probably could just possibly just come here and build it up with weld, but it's going to be an absolute bitch to get in there to clean it up on this back side, and that's critical. It is fairly close to that, and if you had a fine file you might better get in there, but to be honest, it's going to be a complete bitch. Well, that's like I can't even get that file in there. Like, I might have a finer one somewhere that I might better get in there. Have a wee look. Okay, I do have this little one, which has got a, has it got a file edge on it? Yeah, it does. So you could get in there like that, and so even that is too small to get in there on the flat. Like, it's small, that gap. It's really, really small. So like, even though that's not very wide, but this is literally, it's not quite half an inch wide, that file, and it still won't fit in there. So like, that's a small gap. So you got to be really careful that I don't screw this up. And when I weld this back together on the inside, like when I actually put it back in the frame, I'm only just going to tack this as much as I can just to join this, but I'll better weld it quite solidly around here and around here, obviously. So it's going to be strong enough, but yeah, like, it's a real bitch of a thing to try and fix. It really is. So I'm just going to have to possibly, I might just put a little bit of wee piece of something on here and just weld it in, and yeah, be done with it, I think. Whereas this piece here, I'm going to have to try and make a piece, and I'm going to line up against that edge and tack it to that edge, and then obviously later on I'll just have to try and get this outer piece off the best I can. But yeah, it is going to be a real dog of a thing to repair and try and leave these channels free. But yeah, anyway, we'll get the smaller hole fixed first. see if it fits in there. Nah, it's too small yet. Jesus. A little bit small yet. We'll go down there now anyway. That's the main thing. Let's give that a wee sandblast so at least it's clean in there. Probably not matter too much, but right, I'm just fixing this other piece now. I keep forgetting to turn the frickin' push the power button. I'm just cutting the side away so I can get in here to grab this in basically. I'll cut this other bit away too. Probably don't have to go down quite as far, but I'll still come back here because I need to weld here anyway. Yeah. So now I can heavily sandblast here, and then I'll just grind the top, just a little bit off the top of this here, so I can get another piece of steel laid down on there reasonably well. Can I get that file from there? Hopefully. It's got a bit of flex on it, so I might be hopefully just ramrod it up there and get it. Get the worst of it anyway, hopefully. Well, this is going to be fun. Basically all I was trying to do was just get rid of that thin stuff around that hole. So I'll just sit down a piece of sheet metal just on top and just hopefully just tack it in along that edge and along this edge. You know, I'm obviously welded across here the best I can, and then hopefully I don't disturb that channel too much. But I'll go give this a little sandblast again, and yeah, hopefully we end up with a decent result. Right, so I sandblasted that back. Just try and give it the best chance of getting a half decent weld on there. I might grind a little bit of this away, I'll put a hard disc in there and just get rid of some of the shit, and yeah, and then we'll proceed to white patch in there. Right, so basically done with these two pieces. I actually just, there was a hunk of stuff in the corner a bit like this on this piece, and I gave it a scrape around there with a screwdriver and it actually fell out. So when I put this back together, there's going to be a bit of a hole in there, so I might actually just lay a couple little bits of, a bit of that steel in there and just tack it in, so when I come back to weld it together, and obviously because of the cutting disc it's going to have a gap in there, so like I've got less gap to weld up, just to make life a little easier. But fortunately there's a reasonable axis in there, so I better file it up and whatever, or just, you know, even just running a cutting disc in there just gently once it's all welded up to get rid of any excess. But at least if I've got a double skin there, it's going to give me a bit more guts to join together. So I'll do that before I get onto this piece. Doesn't have to be pretty, it's going to be welded in there anyway, just to give me something extra to weld to. Right, next. Look at this. I'm going to have to cut this in half too, won't I? It's pretty inevitable, so I've got to get right in there to clean up. So, but I'll do the same sort of thing. I'll just cut away all this edge, weld a patch, big long strip in there, basically sitting on top. At least in this, I can get in there and clean it up, and then when we join it all back together, I can make up some patches too. It'll go right across, and we'll just have to weld down there and then, type sort of thing. We'll get her. We'll get her. Right, let's cut this in half. Cut it in half. Right, yeah, we give that another sandblast in there. Right, let's get this ground up in here. This side doesn't matter too much, but I'll tidy it up anyway. Get the air. Hopefully that'll be good enough in there. It's going to be really tricky to get in this corner when I got to weld it back together though. Try and clean up. We'll just have to try and weld it the best we can. I have to cut this off anyway, but when I join it back together, hopefully we can just a few little tacks in the corner maybe. I might even get rid of this crap and when we join it back together, just tack it on the outside, and hopefully there's not much weld left in the corner and that won't break, you know, just have a few little bubbles in the corner and that won't break the glass. As long as it's not a big high hard weld, it should be fine. But we'll get that. I might just nick that at the edge off, just leave a little bit there just until I get it fine tuned. Back to the little fine cutting disc. Sandblast, I guess, then we'll grind it up and see where to go from there. Alright, we'll give this a grind up in there. Might just have to do a little bit of welding just across the top here because it's a bit thin as well. But should be alright. Right. I think that should be good enough, like there's no big bits in there. So hopefully now we can, I'll just give this a clean up. So now I can get the pieces back on here. I've got to do a little bit of welding on here just to build that edge up. But I think we'll be right there, hopefully. Right. Let's go over to the table. Right, so it's basically lunchtime, so I'm going to head home, but next task is to tack and weld all this in here the best I can. I'll clean these ends up first on this frame, but yeah, then I'll tack this together and then I'll try and weld in here and in there and try and get this alpha piece of the frame together in the corner, and then obviously then we'll put these pieces back in here and then make the little filler panels. I might have to cut some of this back further, but you know what I mean, like then we can make some patches to put in here and weld it all together. So we've got a wee way to go yet, and then we're going to do the other corner. But that's next anyway. Right, how you going guys? So while I'm back here, I just realised I can, now that I've actually got the frame cut up, with that corner out of it, I can actually pull it into about 3 pieces, so I can actually get it in the sandblasting kit. So I'm actually going to sandblast all of that as much as I can. So it might take me a wee while to do that, but hopefully I can get that corner back in there today without being here too late. I'll want to at least try and get that back together. So yeah, I'll get sandblasting these pieces and I'll come back to you when I've got that done. Right, how you going? So back again. Unfortunately on Saturday when I was here and I was trying to get that sorted, I got dragged away by my partner to do some other stuff. And I just never got a chance back, and she started a new job yesterday, so hopefully I can be here quite a few more hours. And she's going to be doing something that pays a bit more money, so hopefully we'll be a bit better financially off. But yeah, for the first 6 weeks of what she's doing, she's actually going to be looking after calves, baby calves, because over here with the dairy industry, they make them, basically we'll have calves about the same time, which is over about a 4-month period. So she's looking after them, but for the first 6 weeks, pretty much she's going to be working 7 days a week, basically. So yeah, so I should be able to still get down here maybe on a Saturday or something like that, but basically I should be able to get here. Fortunately, it's going to work out that yeah, I should be able to get here most of the day, each day, apart from obviously Sunday and Saturday. I might be able to work a little bit on Saturday and see how that goes. But yeah, I should be able to get a lot more done anyway, so that's cool. So anyway, I'll get to tack welding this together like I was going to do before I got dragged away from here the other day, because I basically ended up sandblasting the frame up to what I could. It's very awkward because it's very tight now. I could get a good chunk of it, but when I cut the other side, I better get sort of the other bits cleaned up, because it was either jabbed hard against the door or hard up in the other corner, and it wasn't easy to get to. So you can sort of get the bulk of it, but when I cut that, at least I better do that small end piece separately. And I've got the worst of that top piece done, which you know is one long piece, but it's not quite so bad. Even though it's from one corner to the other, I can sort of jiggle it around a little bit and try and get the most of it by turning it around. But the other frame part, it's not very easy. So you can sort of get one end, but you can't get the other very easy. But because I'm cutting it up, it means you can get the other piece when you've actually got it off. But I'll get this tack welding this together, and then yeah, hopefully we'll get it all. I should get this all repaired today, I think. Might not quite get that corner finished, but I think we'll get a fair chunk of it done. So I'll get into it. Put the welder on and we'll get gluing, I think. Gas on, line open. Down here so you can see what I'm doing. now I can get in a better position to weld on the inside here. Not that it's going to take a lot, because I'm only going to get about 3 or 4 tacks in there. Hopefully we don't end up with too much weld in there. Just weld it up on that side and this side. And get it all cleaned up and then get the other pieces on there. So I've got that one side on the back side done in that corner, so that's all. It's I don't know. Yeah, so it's about 20 past 10. So I've been here since, I don't know, about 20 to 9 or thereabouts. So it's taken me over, mind you, I did have welded the whole corner in there, so yeah, like it's taken me about an hour and a half. Yeah, about that to get this far. So, and it's like not even, like it's not fully cleaned up on the back, like there's still lots of little pieces to do. Like I've still even got a weld in the channel yet and lots of stuff. So yeah, like it's going to take a while, but we'll get these pieces in here and weld all this up. And then I can concentrate in here and give this corner a good clean up. And then, yeah, and then we'll cut the other corner up. So we'll get making some more little bits, I guess. I probably should have trimmed these pieces out to they're about the same, but should be right. I'll work around it. Give this a grind up here, get that down level so I can join the welds and carry on. Righty, so that corner is basically finished. I've got a couple of little just bits and pieces, maybe in the odd corner, dressed up as you've seen in the middle, lots of stuff. I've probably just got to dress up a little bit around here, but I might be able to do that with a file later. But basically it's done. So when I've finished doing this corner, I'll go back over and just maybe touch up. I don't think many of these are holes as such. I think it's more just where there's like a couple of layers of weld, and there might be that odd little more indent than, you know, pinhole, especially through here because it was fairly well welded up underneath anyway. So you might be just a little bit of dressing. As you've seen, I filed it off to try and get rid of the worst of the any lumps and bumps in it, from obviously just a little bit of transition changes in the heights and stuff like that. With the any extra weld hasn't ground off nicely, so I just used the file to file it off, try and get a better finish. When we come to paint and lots of stuff, we'll probably give it another go. And obviously with paint and lots of stuff, it'll really blend out. But I've still got to find out whether we need all these holes and stuff over here. Some of them may be for like a sun visors or something like that, I don't know. But we may as well get this corner cut off, I guess, and lay it back in the jig, and then repair these corners. So yeah, I might cut it a little bit further back this time. I might cut it a wee bit further in, just to make it a little bit easier to blend the inside join. It wasn't too bad, but this was probably a little bit close. This was alright. If I cut it back a wee bit further, it'll just give me a little bit more to play with. And it's only a little bit extra weld across here where it might join, until we cut the excess shit off the side. And as you can see, this one's through. This one here wasn't actually through. I don't remember any holes being in the outside of it, but this side there definitely is. So if we cut it back here, it's not going to hurt. And up here, just to give us an easier join. And it also means I can possibly get this back into, give it another clean up a little bit better in places. It's not too bad through here, but and I can also, this will be easy to clean up because it's nice and short. But yeah, we'll cut this off now. Let's cut this bitch out. 5, 4, 3, 2. I cut your recorder off next to it. Well, the side A ain't any prettier. It's pretty oily in there, but I managed to fix that the other side, so we'll fix this one now. We'll start with this one. It looks like I'm going to have to cut it right back into about here somewhere to get rid of all this thin shit. It's quite, it's going to have to come back a fair way to what it looks like. It's even got a couple of little holes like right back. So yeah, I might have to cut this right off way back in here to try and get some clean steel. Yeah, and put a big massive long patch in here. Hopefully these side pieces will hold up, but I don't see much other choice, so we're going to have to come back right to at least, I think, probably about here somewhere. I think. So it looks like we're cutting all this off down through the sides. I probably don't need to cut that much metal out of here, but it's going to be a damn sight easier to now actually I mightn't cut so much out of here. I might just cut this back here off where it seems to be stronger here, but just grind this centre piece out and then lay a piece in there and just weld it along this edge if I have to. It won't matter if I have to burn it into this edge. Righty, I'll get grinding. Cutting. So I'm all but done. I've got a little bit of clean up and just, a few bits and pieces to spot weld up and bits and pieces like that, but it's all back together. Yeah, I don't know, I'll have to have a quick wee workout for the amount of hours it's actually taken me to fix that. I'll post it up on here somewhere when I edit. But yeah, it's a few hours in that, and there's probably another, I'm guessing probably another hour in the morning, just clean up, and just tidying any little bits and pieces up. It might be even more than that. No, because I've still got to, hold on, I'll turn the camera on. Because, I've still got to come in here and clean all these little pieces up. There's a, knock out a bit of weld there. The same up here. It's possibly the odd little hole that I've got to fill still. And then just make sure it's all ground back and smooth and all nice. Just die grind in here where I've just filled a bit of weld in. Just make sure it's all good. Just go back over it again and just make sure it's all dead on. Both sides, whatever. So yeah, like I've got a full day in that now. It's just before 5 o'clock. I've been here since, I don't know, 20 to 9. I spent a fair chunk of Saturday here until about 3:30, I think it was. And then a little bit on Friday when I first, when I first had a look at it to try and see where I could actually make a section. And then I decided that, it's probably just as easy to cut it all apart. So, like I've got a fair chunk of Friday, a fair chunk of Saturday, and all day Monday, and I'm still not 100% finished on it. So, there's some bloody time in that. Just repair those 2 corners. That's surprising. And haven't really stopped a lot today to talk. Like I've probably got, another 2 or 3 hours of footage just in that corner. So yeah, it adds up quick. Like what you see in like a couple of 3 minutes of high speed, that could be several minutes as of footage just sped up so you can see what I did. But yeah, crazy amount of time in it. Like if I put it all in one video, like it'd be 10 hours of footage probably. But anyway, we'll catch you later on, and we'll see you in the next video when I've finally got this finished. But you can see what it's taken to fix those 2 corners. It's a crazy amount of work. You got to cut it, each corner into, well, basically cut it through here, that way, no, not that way, and then split it in that corner. So I had to cut each piece into 4 sections just to repair, and then obviously weld the outlet on first, do all the joining in there the best you can so you don't end up with weld back in this groove for the rubber, and then come along and then put the inner section on and then weld that all in, and and then clean it all up and make sure that, I wish I had a piece of the rubber here, but it's no biggie, but we can, just so I can check that, make sure that it did pull around there, but I think it should. With a little bit of time and a little bit of filing and cleaning it up, we should get it in there. But that's a big job to fix that. Alright guys, we'll catch you later on. Cheers.